Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our previous year. We were discussing the question of the Eish Sifas Toar, and we were trying to figure out, among other things, what is the Isser of the Eish Sifas Toar. The Torah is Matir. What's the Isser of this Gentile woman? We proved from the Gemara in the Seches of Avodah Zarah that there doesn't seem to be an Isser. The Oraisa, if it's only B'tzin, only if it's before Hesia. And the man is with the Eish Sifas Torah B'tzina, so what's the problem? We saw Shitas Haran, who holds that there's Kares not only before Hesia, there's even Kares B'tzina, but since the Dinei Adam, you don't do anything. If it's done B'tzina, that's why we needed the Gzeir with the Beis Shel Chashmanai. We gave 4 sets of Malchus for Nash Gaz, we explained in the previous year. But then we showed from the Gemara again that it's not true. That for Kares there isn't. For B'tzina there isn't an Isser. The Gemara is Mechalek. The Gemara says only before Hesi there's an Isser, but Sinna there's no Isser on any biblical level. So what does the Torah have to be matir for if it's not Isser in the first place? So therefore it would appear, we're continuing, that Bevadai Ehrman explains that with respect to the Cheftza of the woman, that she's an Erva, there's no difference between Sinna and Farhesia. Like the Ran said, he says, Linyan Kares, how's it shaykh to be mechalik between Sinna and Farhesia? She's aser, she's aser. If she's mutter, she's mutter. So as far as the Gufa Erva, there's no difference. Nevertheless, the Azhara, the Isser, Kitoitza Mehai Erva, from the outcome of the fact that she's an Erva, is different whether it's Sin or Farhesia. It's only before Hesia, not B'tzina. Just like in Kares, which is La Shamayim, that's going to be on anybody who's an Erva. So if she's an Erva, there's going to be Kares B'tzina, and there's going to be Kares before Hesia. Because for Shamayim, that's enough. Maybe it's telling the Goran Makas, Yit Gimel on the Beis. Does Kares require a warning? The Rambam paskins that it doesn't. Therefore, if it's B'tzina, it could be that there's no Isser Ketotza'ah from the Azhara. Maybe it's just Kares, and there's no Azhara. But, as far as Onesh goes, to give an Onesh, Bidei Adam, for that you need a Pasuk. And that only applies, or Halacha Moshe Misinai, and that only applies to Farhesia. As far as the Onish is concerned, that's only before Hesia. But as far as the Etzema Isser is concerned, Sin and Farhesia are the same. And that's the discussion in the Gemara about the Isser, and the Gemara seems to conclude that the Sinna there is no Isser, that the Torah should have to be Matir. But the Sibas HaIsser, Midin, the fact that she's an Erva, or the fact that there's Hefseid Habanim, that the children are going to become Goyim from this non-Jewish woman, that does apply to being with this non-Jewish woman. And that is the Kares. Because you have the Sibas HaIsser. But that's not enough, we're afraid, to prevent the person from doing this bad deed of being with this non-Jewish woman. Because there's no Onish Bidei Adam. And that's why the Beis Shel Chashmonai had to be Gozer and Isser, like the Ran says. And for this reason, we understand what it says in Agos Mordechai, in the 4th parak of Yuvamis, Benafla lifnei mummer. That if a woman falls in yibum before a mummer, there's no yibum because kanoim pogim bo. The Trumas Hadeshin asks from Tos Yevamis to Zayin Amid Beis, Yibum Asal Kasavar, that B'tzina, it's only Asr D'Rabbanan, and the child is not a mamzer if the parent is a mummer. Look there, and then Od Yehuda and Eben Ezer and Simon Kufin on the Avnei Miluim and Simon Zayin Tzivkat Yud Gimel. So based on what we said, we can explain as follows: that B'yibum erva paters, the fact that she's an erva makes one, they're erva to each other, that makes for no yibum, and therefore, if a mummer is the potential yibum candidate, the woman should not do yibum because even though it's tzina, it's considered erva. They're usher to each other. And this doesn't matter, it's sin, it doesn't matter for Esya. Mashenkein mamzerus, there Tos is discussing vis-a-vis chayvei lavin, there we require that it should be an avera d'oraisa. And b'tzina, it's only asa d'Rabbanan. Since b'tzina, it's only asa d'Rabbanan, the child's not going to be a mamzer. So we see again the difference between where you have an Isser Be'etzem, and therefore you have an Isser Erva, and therefore a Nofeles Lifnei HaMummer is not going to do Yibum, but their child isn't going to be a Mamzer because it's not considered, strictly speaking, an Aveira. In other words, you can have, that's the Yisod that we're bringing out over here. You can have a person who's an erva, but that it's not necessarily an avera. The person's an erva, and there's going to be kares, and there's going to be divine punishment, but there is no, strictly speaking, there's no lav d'oraisa. And therefore, when it comes to a mummer, doing yibum with a mummer, there's erva there, pater from yibum, but the child won't be a mamzer because it's only Astur Rabbanan. And with this, we can also answer the kasha brought in the tshuva of the Noda B'Yehuda. We mentioned Eben Ezer Siman Kuf Nun on the shita of Mahara may Regensburg in the Mordechai, who writes that Kanoim Pogimbo B'nafel Lifnei Mummer, if a woman falls before a mummer for Yibum and they're together, Kanoim Pogimbo. Wait a second. Correct, no, I don't get it. We only find Kanoim Pogimbo if it's a male with a non-Jewish female, but not a Jewish female with a non-Jewish male. So if this guy's a mummer, so that's like a guy, but she's the Israelis, and we don't say Kanaim Pogimbo Israelis Bekusi. That's his kasha. Chazon Ish talks about this in Eben Ezer and Simon Dal Sif Kot Yud. But based on what we said, we could be medaktik that he writes that if a woman is nif'eles legoy Kanaim Pogim Bo, it should have said Ba, the woman. She's the one going off. She's the Jewish woman who's doing what a Jewish woman's not supposed to do. The explanation is that if B'Baal Akusis, when a Jewish man has relations with a non-Jewish woman, we say Kanaim Pogim Bo. So what does that prove? It proves that there's an erva here. And because of this erva, there's also an Isser. Therefore, Kanaim Pogim Bo. But it's both an erva and an Isser. However, be Israelis, there's no Isser. There's an erva, but there's no Isser, just like B'tzina. There's an erva, even though Doraisa there's no Isser. It's an erva. And that erva is enough to pater from Yibum. And And that is why he says, Kanayim pogin bo, b'nafil ifnei mumer. In other words, Kanayim pogin bo, prove that it's an erva. Because if it was a Jewish man with a non-Jewish woman, it'd be Kanayim pogin bo. So therefore, if it's a Jewish woman with a mumer man, it's also going to be an erva, and therefore they're not allowed to be together. So it emerges according to this, that even B'tzina, it's also a Dvar erva. It might not be a Lam in Torah, but it's an erva, and it could also be Kares Midivrei Kabbalah. And since it's an erva, and since this person is going to be cut off, Divrei Kabbalah, sometimes like Divrei Torah, right, according to some. So you need the heter of Yifas Toar. You need that Yifas Toar, not because, formalistically speaking, it's a lav d'oraisa, to be privately with this non-Jewish woman, but because it's an erva d'oraisa. Because in a chepta shel ha'isha she erva, we can't be mechalek, we need sinan for hesia, like the Ran said. She's an erva, she's not. What does it matter if everyone's watching? And therefore we require the heter of Yifas Toar. And it's kimat lahedya b'divrei HaGemara. B'chulin kufteh samad beis. Whatever the Torah answered for us, there's something parallel that's also mutter. Torah answered a kusis, a non-Jewish woman, but was matir Yifas Toar. So one second, what do you have to say Yifas Toar for? But sin, all non-Jewish women are mutter min Torah. There's also Rachmana, the Torah. So why do we have to come on to Yifas Toar? So in the Yerushalmi, in the Tosin, Nida, he writes, Al Pi Yerushalmi, also an Eishes Ish. That's why you have to come on to Yifas Toar. Because she's also an Eishes Ish. In our Gemara, don't say she's just a non-Jewish woman. What do you mean they answered every non-Jewish woman? Not true. They answered every non-Jewish woman, and they were matir Yifas Toar. But sinna, they're all mutter. All the non-Jewish women midoraisa. So what's the answer? The answer is we have to say, medarv zagin, like they say in the mirror, that also with sinna she's a chavtzav iser. Even with sinna, non-Jewish woman's a chavtzav iser. The Gemara says very good. Asr lan kusis, she's a chavtzav iser. But Yifas Toar, she's mutter to us. Then we have to understand even more. What's the heter of Yifas Toar that makes her, as Chazal call it, basar tmusos shchutos? Anyway, there's no iser b'foal. It's just a chavtzav iser. And that stays with the Yifas Toar. So what changed that made it shchutos? It's not shchutos. Beforehand, she wasn't a chavtzav iser min Torah. Beforehand, she wasn't an iser b'foal min Torah. And after the Torah's matir, obviously she's not iser b'foal. Beforehand, she was a chavtzav iser, and she still remains a chavtzav iser. She's still a kusis. So what do you mean? What makes her into a shchuta? What makes her into this kosher person? She's still a chavtzav iser. Before there's no iser min Torah. There's just a chavtzav iser, and that's even after we're matir her before. Still a chavtzav iser. So what changed? Hey, that be a Yifas Toar, you need a kapara. But That's not kapashtis divrei hatos b'Shabbos amutal ramad aleph. Dibra masla midei here. So the shaila is, what's the heter? What's the heter? Anyway, there's not an isser b'foal. And yet, she's still a chevtza visser. She's a chevtza visser. You still need kapara, like Tosfos says, not like the Kli Chemda. So if you still need kapara, she's still a chevtza visser. So what? How does the Torah's heter change things? Beforehand, she wasn't Asr B'foal. Now she's not Asr B'foal. Beforehand, she was a Chevtza Visser that requires a kapara. And now she's a Chevtza Visser that requires kapara. Beforehand, she was like an Arab, and now she's still an Arab. So what was Mischadesh in the heter of Yefas Torah? So from this we see that just like Tosfos writes, and Chof Beis Amud Aleph in Kedushin Dibur Maskul Shalom, L'Shitas Rashi, that Bia Rishona is only permitted La'achar Gerus, that it's called Basar Tamusos, since we're Megayah her Bal Korcha. According to this, that we call her Tmusos Shchutos, that is because the Torah was Koveya that the Gerus is Chal. Al Kol Panim L'Shitas Tosfos B'das Rashi. And that's what makes her Shchutos. In other words, Midin Yefas Toar, the Torah was Po'eles B'Tanayo Isser, in order that there shouldn't be an Isser. He's Megayah her. This Gior makes it Tmusos Shchutos according to Rashi. Because Medin Yefas Toyar, the Torah was Pol, but Tanaya Isser, so there shouldn't be an Isser. In other words, normally Gerus Baal Korcha isn't good, and therefore she's a regular Gentile woman. But the Torah was Pol, but Tanaya Isser, no, now the conditions change. Now Gerus Baal Korcha is a good Gerus. So the same applies to us, that we hold that Bia Rishona is mutter without Gerus, that's Chal on this woman, a din omedis legerus, that she is now a candidate, she's going to do gerus, even though she hasn't yet done it, but before the second time she will. That is mafkia from her, a shem aramis, sheyesh iser ve'erva b'bilasa. That removes the fact that she's a candidate for conversion before the second bia. That removes already now her shame aramis. That there would be the shame of being a goya that would make an isser and an erva in her beila. That normally, en mitziut kazot. Or as they say in modern Hebrew, ein matzav. Ein matzav. It can't be such a thing that a woman is a person's a candidate, and that already changes their status. Either you converted, or you didn't convert. Other ya, other nisht. Bekan chala mitziut dinit shel omedet legerut. Here there is a halachic mitzius of being a candidate for conversion, midin kineged yetzer hara dibrat Torah. So the Torah changes the Tanaim of the Yisr. In other words, the heter of the Yifas Toar is that she's not a regular non-Jewish woman anymore. Normally she's Asar Alts non-Jew. But now, here we change the rule. The Torah changes the rules a little bit, Torah. And it says that the fact that she's Omedis Legeirus, that makes her mutter. She's now in the Geirus ballpark. Welcome to the Geirus ballpark. Vayen barambam, בפרק י"ב מאיסורי ביאה על החבב, שמי שבא על בת גר תושב, אין קנאים פוגעים בו. The Be'er says, if somebody has bia with the daughter of a ger toshav, who accepted upon himself the Sheva mitzvahs, there's no din of kanaim pogim bo, even though he's an Italian guy. But he's a ger toshav, ayin shem magid mishnah. And if God gives me life, hopefully we'll explain this more. Why? Because she doesn't have the shleimus of being an akum. She's not a pure breed goya. She's a bas ger toshav. That's a pagam in her goya. It's a good pagam. She made a dent in the right direction towards being a ger toshav, a geras toshav. In the same vein, we can say that this mitzius is chal on somebody who's a medis legerus. Midin yifas toyar. ומה שאמרתי מוריי ורבותיי, זה לא חידוש מחודש עצום, מקורי של האחרונים, הוא מפורש בדברי הרשב"א. הרשב"א דבריו כ"ב עמוד א' עיין שם. אם מותר ביאה ראשונה, קודם גרות. שואל הרשב"א, מהי בשר שחוטות היא ככה? בשר נבלות הוא. As the Rashba, if she's mutter biya rishona before gerus, why is it called basar shchutos? Here it's still in Avela, she's not Jewish yet. V'yesh loymar, kevan shedaita lehizgayer, t'musoi shchutos karinan bei. Moiridik. That since her das is lehizgayer, that's what makes her t'musoi shchutos. Exactly like we're saying. That's what we call it. So we're changing the Tanai Yisr. We're not saying stam a non-Jewish woman is mutter. We're saying that the fact that she's omedis lehizgayer is matir. Just like Lefi Rashi, normally gerus ba'al korcha doesn't work here, it does. So too, according to the Rashba, normally omedis lehizgayer is meaningless, but here it's meaningful. Okay, sweet friends, Baruch Hashem, b'siyata d'shmaya, we broke some ground over here, very, very geshmak. We learned big yisodos about it being cheptza v'isser, where there's no isser before midoraisa, but there's still an isser doraisa, there's still a kares. And this yifas Torah, and that's the Torah has to be matir. Even though in a formalistic sense, she's not even a lav, but she's still a cheptza v'isser. And we learn that we're changing the Tanaya Isser. The reason she's Temusos Shchutos is because she's Omedis Lizgayer. That's what makes it Shchutos and not Nevelos. That's in a nutshell היסודות שנלמדו בשיעור הזה. ואני מקווה שאם השם ייתן את הכוח ואת המוח ואת שמחת החיים ואת האפשרויות הכלכליות שכל הפרנסה מן השמיים, כמובן צריך לעשות מאמץ, אבל פרנסה מן השמיים, בעזרת השם נזכה להמשיך הלאה בסוגיה הזאת ובעוד הרבה Yisugiyot Hashas, Amen v'Amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.